Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the French Tier 10 Tech Tree Tank Destroyer, the Foch 155. Now if you do like the video, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe down below, as it really does help out the channel. And yes, the Foch 155. It got changed in the recent balance patch. Now I did do a video fairly recently on the Foch 155, and it was actually the on-track series video for this tank. And I said in that video that I actually prefer the 155 on this tank because it hits hard and, you know, I like big guns and I cannot lie. Heavy armor just can't deny. That's me, alright? I like 155. It's great. And the 120mm gun at times can be a bit frustrating with how derpy it can feel. But it did get changed, and only the 120mm got changed, and that's because it got buffed to 440 alpha, which is a big change because it goes from 2,400 damage in a clip to 2,640. Quick maths. I did quick maths there, that was great. So yeah, 2,640 in a clip, which is an extra 240 damage in a clip, which can be the difference between killing 2 tanks or killing one and finishing off another, you know? It just means you rack up damage a little bit quicker. And this tank is just one of those insane all-in vehicles. If you manage to all-in someone, their hit points just vanish in the blink of an eye, and they sit there going, wait, I've just been absolutely deleted. Just like a Waffle Panzer 4 would do, not Waffle Panzer 4, Waffle E100 would do if it catches someone out as well, especially back in the day. It's very, very similar in terms of that to the old school Waffle E100 in the fact that you go, hi friend, I now delete all of your hit points. And before they realise it, yeah, they're dead. And that's game over. Now, obviously, it doesn't put damage out as quickly as the old school Waffle 100 because that fired faster with the intra clip and all that good stuff, but it still does an insane amount of damage very, very quickly. So the Foch 155 did get changed, and like I say, it had the alpha changed from 400 alpha to 440, and the reload went from 38 seconds to 42 seconds to sort of balance it out. But they didn't change the intra clip reload, so it still puts that damage just as quick. It's just a little bit slower to reload that clip. But when you go, oh, hello, I have you sideways on now, don't I? Well, I'll just put 2 in to finish you off. And, oh, hello, Mr. E4, you're still healthy. We get a tracking shot into him. And, well, yes, you're screwed, my son. It is what it is, as long as I don't bounce. Foch 155, everybody. Yep, that's it. Right there. Does the armor work very well on it? Yeah, so-so. But that clip is deadly. Absolute filth. Really is. And yeah, the armor doesn't work that often, but it does have armor, which means you can bounce a good amount of shots. A lot of the time, the RBRTs don't work, unless you're an E4 firing premium, but the E4 does that to everything, right? So yeah, that change was, again, probably wholly unnecessary, to be honest, for the Foch 155, but there we go. And it just means it deletes things a little bit more, and that every time you get a full clip off, like so, yeah, do some mad damage. That bounced, really, but yeah, sure. We bounced a shot, but that was a whole tier 10 heavy tank. Gone. The gun wiggle of doom. But yeah, that's the Foch 155. It's just absolute filth if you catch someone out like that, 780. Absolute filth indeed. So the Foch 155 has a 50 km/h top speed, a 16 km/h reverse speed, a 1,000 horsepower engine, which is 17.8 horsepower per ton ratio, which means you fly to that top speed of 50 quite easily. You have a 2.21 on soft, 1.47 on medium, and 1.29 on firm, which actually isn't the best ground resistances in the universe. And depending on the terrain you're on, you will feel that little bit more sluggish because those resistances aren't that good. 262 meters of still concealment with the build that I run, and 277 meters of on-the-move concealment is actually pretty damn solid, and it means you stay unspotted in so many situations here in the Foch 155, which lets you be able to keep dropping the clip and get more and more damage before they even realise where you are. 486 meters of view range is a bit low, though. That's more of a tier 8 average in terms of view range, but it's still good enough to spot for yourself at distances, and especially with having the good camo, yeah, it's fully workable. You've got the 0.88 accuracy during rotation with a 1.94 accuracy during movement, which isn't too bad for a TD. It's not good, but it's not too bad. It means the aim circle doesn't bloom out that badly, and since you have a 1.86 second aim time, you do aim this gun in very, very quickly, which is definitely nice for the Foch 155. You've got that 30 degrees a second on the track traverse, by the way, which I did forget to mention, which means it doesn't turn that quickly on its tracks. And it's definitely something that you could do to help the Foch if you wanted to, is take something like clutch braking just to be able to get that extra track traverse. You have The 0.28 accuracy at 100 meters as well, which means when this gun is fully aimed, it is a pretty accurate gun. But let's say RNGesus is a thing, and it just likes to miss shots occasionally in this vehicle, which can be super frustrating. But there we go. Like, you've already seen one randomly go to the left and not pen a 780 when you had his side, but there you go. 6 degrees of gun depression is not good, and it's not terrible, but it's still fairly poor. And it means that the tank can struggle on ridge lines to be able to get the gun on target. It is a low-down gun, though, so it's not the worst thing in the universe, but generally you will struggle on ridge lines to be able to get the gun truly down to be able to start farming away. You've got a 34-second reload on this 6-shot 120mm clip with a 2-second intra-clip reload, which means that you get to do all the damage of the clip in 10 seconds of firing the first shot. So it does take a wee bit of time to get the clip out, but in 10 seconds, what, you end up taking a hit for 400, maybe a hit for 800, and then you delete the whole hit points of the vehicle. It can be a worthy trade. It can be a worthy trade. So yeah, you've got that 440 alpha on the shells in that 6-shot auto-loading clip, which apparently is 3.6k DPM. You generally don't pay attention to DPM for autoloaders all that much, because generally it's more about the burst capacity than the raw DPM. But 3.6k DPM for a TD is pretty damn amazing for an autoloader. So yeah, and you've just seen them went in on the artillery. We went, oh hi RT, bang, 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 dead. And like the 780. We're up to 257 pen on the AP as well, which is nice. And 325 pen on the premium APCR, which means that the premium APCR goes through most vehicles you're going to face, and 65mm penetration on the HE. You're generally not going to take the HE with the 530 Alpha because it takes too long to load the clip, and it really doesn't have that many use cases for the HE, so you're generally just going to take AP and APCR. But the penetration is solid for it. It means you pen most vehicles you're going to face. You've got 1,067 meters a second shell velocity on the standard AP, and 1,334 meters a second shell velocity on the premium APCR, which is really nice velocity, meaning you don't have to give too much lead at distance to be able to hit your targets. With the standard AP, you do have to give a bit of lead though, because it's just slightly above average, and it's generally why you see a lot of these Foch 155s just firing full APCR. And it's not the penetration, it's not the 325 pen at all, it's the velocity. That velocity helps you hit far more shots because you don't have to give quite as much lead, and it generally makes the gun feel that little bit less frustrating, because the AP velocity is what makes the gun feel a bit derpy at times, which yeah, can be annoying for the Foch 155. So you saw that first game. We finished with the 6 kills and the 7.3k damage. A really nice game there for the Foch 155, and I think it just perfectly illustrated this vehicle, to be honest. It was a perfect illustration of the vehicle, where you get yourself into a nice position, just wait for people to fall into your trap, and you just delete them, because that's what the Foch does. So what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment for this Foch 155? Well, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Run and Gun, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Muffled Shot, Camouflage Net, the GLD, and Optics. Optics to get the 486 meters of view range so I can spot for myself and not get out-spotted too easily. The Gun Laying Drive to get that aim time down as low as possible so that I'm able to get this gun aimed in very, very quickly and get the shots out fast. More applicable for the 155 than the 120, but I still just run it anyway because I can't bother to keep changing the equipment all the time depending on the gun. And it's still nice for this gun anyway to be able to get these shots aimed in much, much faster. The camo net to get the fantastic camouflage of 262 meters of still concealment, same as the 277 on the move concealment, and that's why we run all 3 gun perks as well, so that we get that general camouflage down by 10%, the camouflage while moving down with the silent driving, and reduce the effect of firing on our camo when we use the muffled shot as well. Steady aim to get the better accuracy all round on the gun, and running gun just to get the accuracy during movement down a little bit lower, so that the aim circle doesn't bloom out quite as much when we move this vehicle. But that perk is also quite interchangeable with something like clutch braking, because the track traverse is quite slow on the Foch 155, and it's nice to have that track traverse be faster. It's really down to you and how you want to kit out the vehicle. I'd recommend either the clutch braking or the run and gun. So this second game here on Death Valley, we've managed to... Oh, this poor Chaug. We managed to get the tracking shot on the Chaug, and yeah, good night, Mr. Chaug. We're up to 3.2k damage. We've got 2 shots left, so we're going to get the shots into the lower plate of this AMX, sorry, this WZ-113 GFT, and with that, he manages to snap the shot straight through the cupola. He went, okay, this guy's farming me, snap, bang, and that gun is derpy. And he hit that no problem whatsoever. Thanks, WZ113 GFT. Good times. And we're up to 4.1k damage with 1412 assistance. And we're seeing what's happening on the map. Their team has pushed through the CDE line and are starting to move towards our base. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to go back towards my base, and rather than push directly towards theirs, try and get into a position where I can farm their team as they advance towards our cap, because I feel like that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to try and cap out in some sort of way or shape or form. And if we can get our gun into the game to reset that, then that's what we want to be doing. And we can use the mobility of the Foch here to get about as well. I mean, we're doing 40 kilometers an hour over this open ground. As soon as we go downhill a little bit, that's where we managed to hit that 50 kph. But yeah, it's just a little bit of sluggishness. Even though we've got a good power to weight ratio in the Foch 155 at 17.8, those ground resistances can make it feel a little bit more sluggish and just slow you down that little bit. Which is why you could also just run off-road driving on the Foch 155 to reduce the effect of the ground resistances on that top speed, by just making it so that you don't feel quite as sluggish as you are, so that you can use the top speed of the vehicle a little bit easier depending on the terrain. So we see the Jagdpanzer E100 towards their base. We've seen how many of their tanks are currently on the opposite flank. So what we're going to do is go get rid of the Jagdpanzer E100 first, because then we've got no threats to our rear, and we can get after the rest of the team as they come out. So we get a shot into the back of this Jagdpanzer. I was really hoping to track and pen this guy to stop him from turning around, but we get there eventually and manage to clip out the rest of his hit points. We're up to 5.4k damage with 1412 assistance. Boost our reload with food straight away so that we're ready to get this clip in and get after the tanks that will be pushing C4. Because I think that maybe some people will just drive up through that gap, especially since we'll start capping. In fact, there is the Valor. I'm just going to keep myself moving, though, to get myself into a better position to be able to shoot around these rocks if people do come up that position at C4, because that is one way that they can come back. And with having 1 or 2 or 3 people going into the cap, I'm fully expecting them to do it, because if they don't come back to reset the cap, what are they doing? So we've cut out the Valor, fully loaded, ready for Mr. Valor. Get 2 in to shut down the Valor, securing our 3rd kill of this game for 6.2k damage. But once again, there's no one really appearing, and I was fully especially with the medium tank down in the dip now. There's no one else really getting spotted, and in fact, there we go, where they're finally starting to get lit up. But there's 15 seconds left on the cap. They're never getting back to reset. So we're just going to YOLO in to drop the last 4 shots of this clip and see where we can get the damage. I want to kill the Death Star, but, well, we end up cocking up the shot. So we get 1 shot into the lower plate, 2 shots into the lower plate, the 50 TP. I decide, okay, I'm going to kill the Death Star. But the Death Star just goes, ha, lol, no, I kill you. I wouldn't have YOLO'd in there if we weren't capping, but we had to get in there to try and dump the clip. And our indecision there to try and take which shot we're going to do ended up in our death. But we still finished with 3 kills, 7,057 damage. 2nd class, the high caliber, the sniper medal for 1333 base XP. Nice game there for the Foch 155 on the noon map, Death Valley. And we're on to the 3rd and final replay in this Foch 155. And we're on this map, which is Overlord. And on Overlord, what I want to do is go to the middle position at E6, because from there I can try and spot people as they move out their spawn along the 5-6 line. And I might be able to get some early doors shots out that way too. I can also go around the right hand side of the little middle area as well, which should give me some cover from the left. And I can, again, try and isolate someone if they decide to push that corner, and that's what the Foch 155 wants to do. It's all about isolation. If it can get an isolated target and just get the clip rolling, oh, it's so filthy. I mean, you've seen that in the first replay. You've seen that in the second replay. It is pure filth. That's what this tank is when you're using this 120mm gun. Now, the 155 still has a heavy hitting clip, but it's just not as strong as this one is. And it's a lot derpier. But it does have the benefit of hitting harder per shot. So when you get the opportunity to only do 1 shot, you're doing more damage than you will do with this one. I do think that the 120 is probably the best gun for the tank, generally, and probably the one that most people will do most consistently with. But yeah, the 155 is definitely for me. Oh, no, Chieftain! Oh, Mr. Chieftain! Oh, this is awkward. We've damaged his clip. We've damaged his Amarak. We've damaged his Amarak again. Gonna try and pop the lid. Go for the drive wheel. Go for the lower plate. And yeah, that was a bad time for Mr. Chieftain. That was a bad time for Mr. Chieftain. 2.1k damage in the space of about 8 seconds. We didn't get the kill because he got hit from one of the guys in the back, but he was playing the game. And then he wasn't. Foch, everybody! So we're up to 2,100 damage in the first minute, pretty much. And we're just going to poke over this ridge and see if we can find anyone else to do that too. We see the Chieftain Mark 6 down below, and he seems to be all alone. A lot of their team are at F8. So what I want to do is go take a hit from the Chieftain and just destroy his whole hit points. It's what we want to do in Mr. Foch. So we're just taking it as careful as possible in case there was something else down here, and in fact there was. It was an FV225, which we managed to track. Really hope to track and pen him again, but we don't quite re-track him with that. If we'd retracked him there, Mr. FV225 would have been fully deleted. I'm backing off though, and he thinks, aha! This guy's backing off, it'll be okay. Nah, it really won't. We managed to take most of his hit points. The M6 is going to hopefully finish him off. We get very lucky, though, that number one, the FV225 bounced. Number two, the artillery hit us in the side. And he didn't pen us. Bonus, we'll take it. That's because this vehicle has 70mm of side armour. It's not much. And a lot of artillery will just auto-pen your side, same as they'll pen the top of the vehicle if they hit it as well, because the top of the vehicle is just really, really weak and just not very, very thick, as it is only 30mm or even 20mm on the back, and it's a big engine deck to splash. Artillery loves this vehicle, so we're very lucky that we didn't get hit by that guy, or at least get penned by that guy. But we're up to 4.2k damage with 148 assistance. We end up finding an SU-122-54, and you know what? I'm just going to push extremely aggressively into this guy. Hello, SU. And we ricochet because we didn't aim it, we just auto-aimed. We get hit in the back, we get hit by Artie, we finish off the SU-122-54, and we're now down to a one shot for everything. We get lucky that the sharpshooter doesn't end up finishing them off, although actually, to be honest, he snapped the shot and hit our upper plate, which meant that he's just not going to pen that. He has to hit the cupola or our side, but he clearly panicked when we managed to get the gun on target, bounced, and so we managed to just clip out the rest of him. We go straight for the reload. As soon as we're going to hit 30 seconds, we're going to boost with our food as well, so we get a faster reload on this clip. And then we're going to reposition ourselves into a better position to try and find shots into either the guys on the beach or the guys on top. And in fact, with the tortoise down below, from the left-hand side of this ridge, we should be able to aim down and clip out this tortoise. And this tortoise is going to be the prime example of why you do not go to the beach, because tanks can do exactly what we're about to do. We're going to find the gun depression angle here on the top of this ridge. And hello, Mr. Tortoise. 1 into the back, 2, 3. Broke his engine, 4. And he gets finished off by the MBCB. We're not allowed to finish off tanks in this game, are we? I'm just not allowed to have that satisfying full tank clip out. There's always got to be someone there to go, ha-ha! Kill secured. Always the way. Always the way. So we're at nearly 7.5... Well, yeah, nearly 7.5k damage. And the controller dies. Good timing there, controller. Very, very good timing for you to just go and die on us. Very, very handy, but there you go. We're up to 7.5k damage with 148 assistance. They have 5 tanks left, and we only have 7. Of which 2 are on the beach. Make that 3, really, with the arty. So this game is truly in the balance. And the fact that we don't have many hit points... Yeah, this could be a little bit awkward. So we need to try and, again, get isolated targets, clip them out, and then hope that they don't shoot at us. Because once again, the armor on this tank does work. It is quite nice, but there's plenty of weak spots for them to be able to hit. And when you really want the armor to work on the Foch 155, it just doesn't really do it. So with the 5 tanks left on my team, and we're at 7.5k damage, I'm looking at this game going, ooh. Is there a 10k on? It's very, very possible. So we need to get in there and try and get the clip out where we can. So we see the SDRV-103B, but I'm pretty sure there's possibly something at the back over there, and in fact there is. It's a Canonian Jagdpanzer 3 GST term. So we get a shot into his driveway which bounces, the third one goes in, we've damaged his ammo rack, we're trying to shoot the exact same spot, And if you shoot the same spot when you've damaged someone Amarak, they tend to lose their head, which is what happened. We're up to 9,000 damage. We go for the shot into the top of the STRV, and he gets rammed. We'd have nearly been at 10k damage there if we'd managed to get the shot there into the side of the STRV without the MBTB ramming him. But hey-ho, we're up to 9.4k damage with 293 assistance. There's only 2 vehicles left, a medium tank and a light tank. We don't really know where they are at this current moment in time, but we are only 14, 13, 12 seconds away from reloading, so we should be ready to go the moment we actually do find them. So I'm going to go try and spot out towards our cap area, because that's where I figured they might be. And in fact, we've found the Leopard. I decide, screw it, I'm just going to be aggressive, and we finish him off with the RBRT, and the AMX 13-105 also got finished off by the M60. And we finished the game with a fantastic total there for the Foch 155. The victory, 4 kills, 9.6, nearly 9.7k damage, 293 assistance, ace tanker, the high caliber, the sniper medal, with that 1833 base XP. Probably would have been 10k if we'd managed to get that last shot in the clip into the STRV without him being rammed, but hey-ho. We nearly got there. It is what it is. 9.7k damage is still a fantastic total for a tank that is absolutely filthy when you catch someone out with this 120mm gun. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!